So the new Insidious just dropped and there's a lot of things to go over and a lot of things that I need to talk about. So for the first thing is that they brought the original Lambert family back, which holds kind of a sentiment to me, as they've not brought in any new actors and it kind of keeps the storyline within intact and none of the characters are going to change or develop any new characteristics. I'd say the only person that develops any sort of characteristics is Dalton, as he has grown so much more older and he's gone from being a younger child to now this adult in college. So the main things I'm going to go over within this movie review is the effects, the storyline, and basically what I find most appealing about the film. So as some of you may or may not know, it is Patrick Wilson's debut on directing. This was entirely directed by him and I have to say the film is an absolute masterpiece from start to finish, and it has some plots and twists in it that I didn't even expect to happen. This film is more about jump scares. So the main plot for this film is that Dalton is going off to college to go to art school, as you are at, well, the art part of the college, and yeah, it's not going well for the family in terms of Dalton and Josh himself, as they've had a little bit of a divide since the divorce. Let me do warn you though, if you haven't seen Insidious The Red Door, please click off now and then come back once you've watched the film, because I do recommend it. It is very, very good. So let's start off with the story. So the story starts off where they're pretty much in a graveyard as Josh's mother has just died, and obviously Josh and his wife are now divorced, but Josh is still wanting to make a connection with his kids. So Dalton is going off to college to do art school, and in the process he's been having flashbacks and thoughts of what happened within that coma, and he feels as if someone is lying to him. While Dalton is in college, he does start to experience flashbacks and kind of the things he was feeling and experiencing back when he was just a child and going into astral projection. For me, the storyline and the plot was very well detailed, and the script is also very well detailed, and if you didn't already know the little twists and Easter eggs that have been plotted into the film, it's been very well directed, and obviously Patrick Wilson has directed the whole film, or how much of the film he's directed. He's done a very good job of it. The biggest plot to this film is that the only reason the red door has opened back up again is because Dalton has painted it. Dalton went back to that astral projection kind of frame of mind when he was in art class, and the teacher had asked him to paint what he feels, which he did, which he painted a red door, and obviously jump scare number one happened. This film has been huge on jump scares. When I went to the cinema, the whole cinema was terrified and jumping every single time, and all I could do was sit there and laugh because it's hilarious. So the next thing I want to talk about is the effects. The effects within the film are so good, and it just makes me happy knowing that although some of it is CGI, a lot of it is practical. The prosthetics of the film are so good, and the actors themselves, obviously Dalton has developed some new characteristics because he is older and he's going off to college and whatnot, but the characteristics he's developed help the film a lot. The characteristics that he's developed are better for his character, so that it can give a better connection with his dad and himself. Although Dalton does feel like his dad is lying, his dad also has no recollection of what happened within the past year of when he was 10, and that makes Dalton kind of feel as if he can't trust anyone. So obviously we have the old Lambert family back, but we've also got a brand new character, which to me is really good, as it gives an outsider more of a perspective as to what happens within the Lambert family. And even though she kind of portrays as she is the fun one, when she finally figures out what's wrong with Dalton, she knows she's in for the worse. So the making of this film has obviously been months in the making, and it's genuinely, in my opinion, a masterpiece. It's very creative, it's been directed very well, and the camera shots are so good. The only thing that I didn't really much like about this film is the demon. I don't know what it's called. I know I'm an Insidious fan, but sometimes I forget things. But the demon wasn't really needed that much in the film. It didn't really serve a purpose, and obviously the last final shot it was needed because obviously the final shot was the door being painted off by Dalton, but it wasn't really needed that much, and it didn't really serve a purpose apart from the jump scares, which people obviously still find scary because it's a horror film. The Insidious movie was absolutely like terrific, and I can't fault anything. Some things were needed and some things were, but it makes it fun for the audience to have these little jump scares and little plots and twists, because then they won't expect anything going on within the film. But within the previous Insidiouses, the family was obviously quite young and no one was really aware of what was going on within the house. But as they've grown up, they've gotten kind of mature with what's going on, and Dalton seems to think it's okay to carry on doing what he's doing. From when he was 10 years old, when he was still doing astral projection, he was going everywhere, even the further, which he was told by Elaine not to do. But it doesn't really matter. But in this film, it seems that the astral projection is what he wants to do, which didn't really make any sense, because in the film, this is what causes the spirits to come to find your body and take over, which was also almost done in the previous Insidious, where Dalton was in a coma and the spirits were trying to get into his body. But honestly, in my opinion, the Insidiouses were very good, and on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd rate it ever a 9. Some things obviously needed work on, but overall it's a genuine masterpiece in my opinion, and if you haven't watched it, please go and watch it because it's so good. But yeah, the effects were outstanding. There's barely any CGI, and it's mainly just practical effects. But I'd say this film is mainly about jump scares and the storyline. I like the ending because the ending shows a little teaser for if they do make a new Insidious. I don't think they will, but it gives a little teaser for if they do. I'm not going to spoil anything just in case you haven't watched it, but if you haven't, go and watch it. It's a very good film. But yeah, that's my movie review. I hope you did enjoy watching, and yeah, if you have anything you'd like me to review, leave it down in the comments. And if you have anything you want me to react to, leave it down in the comments. See you in the next one.